Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to SpeedForce Racing. My name is JB, and I'll be taking you through tonight's race, as I often do. But before we do anything else, let's have a look at the championship standings, because right now we only have the driver standings, as there was a mistake, a mix-up with the the constructors. So we are missing those, but I will run through the driver standings as they stand now. Which is Medium Pilot is in P1 ahead of Lickle in P2, Samu is in P3, and Dobby is in P4, Nikos is in P5, defending champion. In P6 is James Braden, and in P7 is Perez. I believe he's still Perez. Yes, he's still Perez, because the name change came in. In P8 is P. Volters, and P9 is John Heron Terry. P10 is Alfie. P11 is Abiy Dean. P12 is Orchard David, who's now Wishbone the Cook. P13 is Glocky, but he is since left us due to not being wanted to race here. Maxilius, who's also stepped down, is in P14. Maxilius Spyrus Virus is in P15, and Reflow is in P16. Jesse Tony is in P17, who has since been blacklisted. Abraham is in P18. Stam is in P19. Raikkonen all the way down in P20. But I do have to start the stream on a slightly sour note due to the fact of Premier is in trouble, guys. It really is. Premier is in trouble due to the fact that we have a lack of drivers. As shown here, we have 12 drivers in. 12 drivers in. Well, actually, it's 11 drivers for Linel's here, and he's going to be jumping into spectator mode in a minute. So we have 11 drivers. Premier is in trouble. If we do not have enough drivers, or enough drivers to race come next week, really, we as admins are going to have to be forced to close the Premier Division for Season 4. And it's really, it's not fair. Because, yes, I know, Kat, it's not fair. It's not fair because drivers like Dobby, drivers like John Heaven Terry, who've just come in, they want to go. Gasly, who's come back, he ran over a name which I cannot remember for the lifetime of me now, but Premier is in trouble. And we want the Premier Division to continue. But, yes, darling, I know. We want the Premier Division to continue. We want the Premier Division to thrive as it should do, but it hasn't. We've had some fantastic races here. Hungary last season, particularly one of my favourites, a standout race for me in my memory. I really enjoyed racing there, sitting here commentating over it, and nonetheless, Premier has been exciting. But if we don't have enough drivers to make it a meaningful championship, like if we come in here with 14 drivers every week when we started the season with 20, it's not. Yeah, I know, Kat. I know. The cat is crying because she wants Premier to continue too. You're hurting my cat. We're trying to find drivers everywhere, and it's really is quite upsetting to sit here and come onto commentary every week and see the numbers gradually get smaller and smaller. We shouldn't have to rely on GP2 drivers to come into the Premier Division to save it. For instance, Steve Pasley, whose GP3 has taken time out of his time to practice for next week's race. Or wait, he might be using this as practice, but for the next race for him, which is actually this race on Monday, he's taken time out of his personal time to come here and race in Premier to make it more entertaining for other drivers, which is upsetting. And we need 100% confirmed. We need to have. See, that's Paulie. I don't know who that is. He's a friend of Kimmy's, I believe, so he's coming. We need drivers to be 100% committed. If you're not 100% committed to Premier Division, then you are killing the division for everyone else. I'm sorry, that's literally the bone of it. Drivers who, such as Jesse Tony, he came in last season, he stunned us, he was brilliant. Yes, he got a few penalties for doing silly things, which is written in the rules of SFR, do not do, which is like cutting corners. But he was blacklisted for completely ignoring a penalty he was given and then mucky about on track. Okay, now that was on stream. We were told that. But it's not fair to have drivers come in here every week who want to race, who can't have a meaningful championship due to this. And it shouldn't come down to bringing in lower division drivers to come in here. That's not what the lower divisions are for. They're not feeder series. They're just different division races. They're not feeder series into the Premier Division. Yes, you can work your way up, but they are not feeder series. That's the most real I've ever got with anyone on stream. I'm as you can tell, I'm quite frustrated with the numbers of drivers getting in every week. I mean, personally, I didn't want to come on stream today. because I knew the numbers were going to be low, and it's not fair. If we do not have, I think they've been given the orders to go to track, but if we do not have Samu giving in lateness saying that he's got internet issues, but if we do not have 100% committed drivers by next week, the Premier Division will be closed. That is, no, not you, Bixby. We will have no choice. We really won't. And that is the most real I'm going to get for you. Okay? That is the bottom line, black and white now. It will be closed next week if we don't have committed drivers enough. We have several drivers in here tonight from lower divisions. Steve Pasley, Psycho Mitch, Smelly Badger have come all the way from GP2 and GP3 to come up here and race to give them numbers. Okay? Bottom line, that's it. Okay, so Lino is now in the spectator position, and I think we're going to be sent over the track in a moment. But yeah, I'll try and I'm going to keep a happy face on, because I always do on commentary. But no, yeah, I'm not going to. Lee has less spectators, so maybe he's inviting one more driver. But yeah. So this is the Paul Ricard circuit, one of my personal favourites in Formula 1. We saw GP2 put on an absolutely fantastical race last night. What a spectacle GP2 was last night to see such a brilliant race from GP3 drivers joining in as well. And it was just so fun to watch it and to experience doing commentary of it. I think that was currently the best commentary session of the season for me. And it's getting even better and better as SpeedForce goes. So tonight in the Premier Division, we do have Nikos in here, I believe, but I think he's changed his name to Nick. I'll stick with Nick. Ooh, was that a driver leaving? I don't think it was a driver leaving. I think it was he passed the car. No, so yes, so we've got the defending champion in here tonight. Medium Pilot, by the looks of it, is not here tonight. No, he is here. Sorry, he is here. Paulie is in here. NS Woods in here. That's a name I used to race with in other lobbies. So hopefully he's clean. We do have some drivers like Paulie and NS Wood here that have not been vetted by SpeedForce yet. We're literally bringing them in for a race, same as Dark Sim Racer, bringing them in to try and boost the numbers. Friends with Raikkonen. So if this goes badly for one of them, they're not going to enjoy the amount of the meanness. I'm pretty mean on commentary, to be completely honest. But it will be pretty harsh for them to come to a harsh reality of having to do this. We'd expect Psycho Mitch to be a back marker tonight, being in GP3. Steve Pasley, he had a fantastic race last night in GP2, but he's GP3 as well. He should be down there really as well. But I think we're going to get the go around to head over the track side now. Yeah, we have been given the lights out, so race director commanding us to head over the track, and let's see what these drivers can do. Even the unvetted driver should be having fun. So we build down the timer, 10 seconds remaining until we go over the qualifying here in France. Would you like to go out? You want to go out? Okay. I'll let you out when we go over to the qualifying session. So yes, other news in SpeedForce Racing, due to technical difficulties on Tuesday night, we were unable to run the GP3 division. And my mother's back. We'll be seeing the GP3 division take on France, and then have a quick turnaround heading over to Italy next week for the for next race on Tuesday. But they'll be having France on Monday. That's what we use Monday for, as a backup day for streaming, just in case the division goes slow or is unable to be ran. We are having all of that. I just walked across my room and I'm out of breath. Jesus, if you can't tell, I'm on my own tonight. Due to Twan not being around for commentary, and me being lazy, couldn't be bothered to do it for someone else, so here we are. So, what does France have to hold today? Is it going to be a wet qualifying session? We'll find out in 3, 2, 1. It's drier than England is right now. It's 17 degrees today. It was absolutely lovely, but horrible at the same time. So, list of drivers we have in tonight. We have P. Walters, Raikkonen, Gasly, Perez. Interesting names. Dobby, Psycho Mitch from GP3, C. Pasley from GP3, Ibrahim, Wishbone the Cook, John Heaven Terry, Smelly Badger from GP2, Dark Sim Racer, who is one of Raikkonen's friends, Nikos there in P13, Paulie, who is also a friend of Raikkonen's, Medium Pilot, and Fotio, all here tonight. So that's 16 drivers, and a few of them not belonging to the Premier Division. So, what can this race have to do with? Sounds like they're powering up a Ferrari, but sounds of it. Ferrari or Mercedes? It is a Ferrari. It is the Ferrari of Nikos. So we'll see what he can do. Leaving the track now. Look at that. I do love this track a lot. Nikos and a Red Bull. That looks like to be Paulie coming out. No, not Paulie. It might be Paulie. Both Red Bulls coming out. Lots of drivers coming out. Looks like a McLaren of Abraham as well. Maybe medium pilot. Look at that. Racing points coming out at the same time. Lots of drivers coming out the track now. So actually it's Fotio, the first driver on track in the Ferrari. Then it is Abraham by the looks of it. So it's interesting to see how many of the young drivers are here tonight. Oh, that's Walters. Interesting to see with the young drivers, you'll see Fotio dropping a position to medium pilot. No, medium pilot who's just left the pit, so it's Abraham. Sorry. Completely getting controls mixed up. So it's Abraham who will be setting his first lap. Remember, Season 1 champion here, the number 45, McLaren, as he runs up onto the Mistral Straight. Yep. What a fantastic track this is. I just love it. Then the Renault will be third in line to set a lap time. What can McLaren do tonight? We saw them struggle last night with the reserve drivers they had in GP2. And we'll see what the Premier drivers can do as well. Coming through this flat right-hander. Don't want to take too much of that curve. We saw the most realistic Formula 1 crash in sim racing yesterday between Orchard Sucks and Yaram, who was aiming to make this race tonight, but he didn't make it due to, I think it was work commitments. But now into sector 3, Abraham winding up the start of his lap, this sector where it feels like it should end right here, but no, there's another set of corners. In order to take it through, you've got to turn left, and you've got to get it all right as coming through there. It is a boring circuit, no real elevation changes, but it's still fantastic to watch. Abraham actually bailing into pit lane, so Fotio will still start us off with lap times here in France. Followed by C. Pasley. So we can have a direct comparison between GP3 driver and Prem driver on the same tyres now. What can Fotio do is he turns into turn 1, gets all sorted, and there is a car ahead of him. That's a outlapped car, so hopefully that won't get involved too much in the decisions. That's coming through. It's a Renault, by the looks of it. It is, and it's Smelly Badger bailing out the way. The Red Bull driver turned Renault driver for tonight on loan to the Premier Division. Running up around onto the Mistral Straight now. Look at the lack of traction there. Sector 1, there is the other flag. I believe that's just Smelly getting out of the way. DRS opening now on Fotio's car, and he slices down trying to get through there. It looks like Stepazzi has invalidated his lap. He has. So that's the Alfa Romeo. Going to be the next car on track. That's Dobby. So Fotio sliding up that. Might be an invalidation there. Still going for it at full power is the Ferrari though. As the 69 car, no 99 car, sorry. It's not Antonio Giovinazzi, no, it is Fotio himself coming up and through there. Wow! Flirting with the curves heavily. They're braking hard into the late apex corner after the long right-hander. What control the Ferrari driver has. So down and round into the final couple of corners. What can he do? This could be his first pole position. He's going to set provisional pole right now. He's got no ERS whatsoever left. Running up across the line. That is a 1 minute 31.2. There was a big moment though from Dobby. Has that cost him a chance? No, it's a 1 minute 30.9. It would have been even quicker if he hadn't had a big seesaw moment. But he gets dethroned by John Heaven Terry in the Racing Point. The Red Bull driver Gasly going P2, better than his F1 counterpart. And then Dark Sim Racer taking P2 in the Mercedes. Here's Smelly Badger starting his lap. And here's Wishbone, who's just on his now. He started at medium pilot, takes it 1 minute 29.8 in the McLaren right now. Is sitting pretty in pole position. We'll see what he can do. Here's Season 1 champion Nick coming through the first couple of corners. The last couple of corners. Heading on to, I feel the track could have ended here, but no, they're carrying on. Obviously, this is a track with many different combinations. I think 121 different combinations for the Paul Ricard circuit. Getting the power down, a little bit of seesaw action for the Ferrari. Crossing line now, what can he do? He's just starting his lap, so apologies for getting that mixed up. Here's Abraham, who made a mistake on his first lap. coming up and round. No, he's on an in-lap, sorry. See Pasley, who's on a time lap now. The GP3 driver here, lofty heights on a Thursday, raced in every race he can this week to try and better himself and use this as practice for for Monday's race here in GP3. But we'll see that on Monday. Then we'll see them go again on Tuesday, the day after. So 2 days, we start the 2 days of GP3. Rounding the final corner now. What can C. Pasley do? Getting the power down. DRS open. Crossing the line. The GP3 driver goes 7th. So, right up there with the Premier. You know what? Not too far away from Fotio's time either on the soft tyres. What can Raikkonen get up to? Fabian saying hype? Yes, hype indeed. Though the Premier Division, as I stated at the start of the stream, is in trouble, and we'll see that. Raikkonen, big oversteer moment, has entirely invalidated his lap. Let's jump on board with Wishbone. What can he do? It will be interesting to see what the GP3 drivers can do tonight against it. We got, again, our first direct comparison, actually, here, of all 3 divisions in SFR. Predominantly Premier drivers, but then 1 GP2 driver, and then 3 GP3 drivers. So it's going to be really, really interesting to see what they can do. Still on board with Wishbone now, seeing what he can do. Nick goes P4 on his initial run there. So a mixture of strategies already happening. Gasly and Dark Sim Racer both going for ultra soft tyres. John Heaven Terry sat in pit lane with ultra soft tyres on his car just in case. Oh, someone's got it wrong at the chicane. Lost the rear end, but looks like gone straight on. But coming through that fast right-hander, look at that. Wishbone controlling the Alfa Romeo brilliantly. We've seen how strong this car was back in France. I think this was first appearance last year in Q3. So we'll see what the Alfa Romeo Sauber can do. Round a couple of corners. I always feel like the track ends here, but it doesn't. There's still another set of corners first. Look at that. Trying to get it also done. There is a car ahead of him. It's a Renault. It might be Steve Pasley. It might be Smelly Badger. Smelly Badger looks like bailing to pit lane. Running up to DRS open. Where can Wishbone go? It's a slow lap. It's a 1 minute 34.6, which puts him last on the ultra soft tyres. Struggling with this track is the bone. Same by looks like it as Raikkonen, who seems to be struggling with it as well. Take it very gingerly. I think he's on an in-lap right now. This looks very in-lap-ish. He's changing settings on the car. Powering out the final corner. Now he's on a restart lap. So he knew the lap was bad. It was invalidated, in fact. Here's Sajkovic in the Haas. The GP3 driver reserving tonight. Coming up and round through the Mystial Straight chicane. Arguably that chicane should not be there. It should be a full flat-out straight, which would have been awesome to have 2 DRS zones on that straight. And have 2 people like chop and change with DRS. It would have been really cool. Sajkovic, the number 22 car, trying to get himself all comfortable with this. Been informed by the race director that Kimi's doing practice laps right now, and we'll be expecting more from him later on. But what can Sajkovic do? The last of the reserve drivers to set a lap time. Looks to be a good lap time on the super soft tyres right now. DRS opening now, slicing through the air, and he goes P13. So quicker than Wishbone the Cook, who's struggling on his ultra soft tyre. Sector 2, there is a yellow. I'm not sure. Look at this. Wishbone getting held up by Perez, a right real much into the final corner. What can Wishbone do? Is he going to bail into pit lane? No, he doesn't. DRS open, trying to control every slide on the car. The Irishman crossed the line at 1:35. Even slower. Clearly just doing practice laps right now. Perez, though, on his big oversteer moment, and he's cut the course. I mean, yes, Wishbone was on a lap there. I think that might be questioned there, to be completely honest, by the stewards. It was on a lap, but I don't think he had the real need to be that far out of the track limits. Abraham now coming through the final corner. No, sorry, I keep getting the track mixed up. Coming through and round, passing this wonderful paint on the track, getting it up around the final corner before the last couple of corners. Stam joins us late, so he will be assigned a car later and have to race with no setup. If he complains about that, well, we should have got here on time. Simple as. Abraham, though, struggling on traction, trying to get that car snapped back in. I think he's going to bail in the pit lane this time round. He does. Completely disrespecting the track guidance there. As P Volters on the track to number 4. What can he get up to? The German driver in the Mercedes. Take the threes, yellow flags. Don't know who they're being waved for. It's not Wishbone. He's down on his lap time, and he's got a few cars following him now. Perez, who obviously did 4 laps in the tires. We've got 7 minutes left of the qualifying here in France. Whoa, bailing out of it there for Medium Pilot, who I think's coming into pit lane. No, he's going to set a lap time here. Pit lane is awful. Gasly left the session. No, retired from the session. So yellow flags in sector 2. No idea where that is. Trying to find any idea of where sector 2 would be. I think he's lost it at the hairpin. Daniel saying the pit lane's awful. It's no more awful than Monaco for me. I do like the pit lane here, but here's Dark Sim Racer. A unknown in the act of SFR right now. Not sure how he'll react, but he's coming through now, trying to get all turned in. We know that Paulie is Australian, so his lag may be horrendous. And Dark Sim Racer crossing the line. It's a quick lap time, and he takes pole position right now. Or provisional pole for the Mercedes driver. Volta's going very, very slowly. I'm not sure what's happening. Stan talking in the chat. I'd like to know what that's about, to be completely honest, but you know. But Volta's taking it very slowly. I mean, I know you've got to take it slow on these tyres to try and not to wear them, but that's unsure what he's doing. As long as he's not impeding anyone, though, it should be okay. It'd be amazing if he got a corner cut just right there. Here's Steve Pasley in the Renault. DRS opening now as he crosses the line. And look at that. Fantastic shot of their car. They almost had a podium in GP2. Can they make it a podium here tonight? Well, I'd be surprised because they are GP3 and GP2 drivers right now. What is that yellow flag? It's a constant yellow flag in sector 2. It looks like it would be further back. There's someone lost at the fast right-hander that we're coming up to now. See Patsy coming through the shot. What can he do? Getting it all turned in for the Renault, the 37. Trying to find his way up the order into the top 10, hopefully. Dark Sim Racer retiring. Thinking he's done enough to get pole position by 2 tenths. I don't know if the track is going to get better. We should just see. Got a couple of drivers on track, obviously, that we're going to be looking at, trying to suss out what they can do. Paulie, Dark Sim Racer, and I believe there's one more. No, it might just be those. Paulie, Dark Sim Racer are going to be obviously sussed out, see if they want a permanent drive here. C. Pasley improving his lap time to 10th place. What a lad. C. Pasley breaking it there. Passing Fotio, knocking him down 1 position. Let's have a look who's on that lap. He's the only one. No, Psychomich is on that lap right now in the Haas. Once again, he has to have raced in every division this week, or attempted to. The Haas puns have begun. Ooh, that's interesting. So now we can see what everyone can do. Obviously, we have Stam on standby, in the side of it to get his he'll be starting the race. Will not be qualifying, so will not have a setup on his car. So he's going to have to really risk it. With the tyre choices, though, it does lean to it looking to be more of a dry race rather than a wet one. We are still looking at Psychomich now in the Haas, and we're going to see what he can do. So how is everyone right now in SFR? I'm feeling particularly fantastic right now. It's been one of the days that I've wanted to get on and do things. I went very adult today. I was doing very grown up things. And I wasn't happy about that, but you know, and I've been talking about I've actually signed up and joined a couple of to do some endurance racing. So yes, I'm a failed Formula 1 driver in SFR. I don't race in Formula 1 much anymore at all, so I've gone and done what every ex-Formula 1 driver's done and gone and had a crack at Le Mans. I never won the what's it called, the Monaco Grand Prix. To be fair, I finished it I think once. No, didn't finish it at all. So I haven't finished the Monaco Grand Prix, so I'm not going to go for a Triple Crown. I'm just going to go to be Le Mans champion. I'd like that, to win Le Mans, but I don't think I will. Not on my first time round. I'm driving a Ferrari 458 round Le Mans. Then I've got some GT3 running as well to get me back into the swing of things for racing wise. Psychomich improving to P13 once more on the ultra soft tyres, only improving by smidgens, but obviously we expect that from the GP3 driver. Raikkonen in all of this has gone P3. Is he improving on this lap? No, I think he's just starting a lap, in fact. Yeah, he is. So what can Toro Rosso get up to? Rounding the final corner comes the Finnish driver. Crossing the line now and hoping to improve on that position. There is movement in pit lane as we come to the last 2 minutes. John Heaven-Terry is on track. It's starting to get a bit dark here in France. Going around the final corner now. No DRS, and Dobby improves, immediately stealing pole position from Dark Sim Racer. Dark Sim Racer may have completely missed it, but John Heaven-Terry stealing it even more from Dobby. So Dark Sim Racer clearly making a mistake there. And Raikkonen making one as well. His lap time has been invalidated, so he is going slow. What can Nikos get up to in the Ferrari as my cat does a cartwheel? Next to me, I wish I filmed that actually. It's kind of like this mixture. Yeah, it is a good light grid, to be honest. Smelly Baginos just starting, that may have impeded Nikos just a little bit with dirty air there. DRS opening on the Greek car, and he's crossing the line. Here's pole position right now by 2 tenths, but the lap times are getting so quick here. You just can't call it. Has Wishbone invalidated his lap time? No, he hasn't. He looks like he's still going. Psychomich is baiting into pit lane. That's his qualifying over. Where's Abraham? What can the Season 1 champion do? Never saw a direct race between the Season 1 champion and the Season 2 champion. As Wishbone retires, Paulie has retired as well. Sector 1 and 2 yellow flags. Drivers pushing hard. Dark Sim Racer leaving the session. Is that a lag out, or is that down to not being on pole position? That'd be really interesting if it was. It would show awful commitment, so he won't be vetted if he wants to come into SFR. Obviously needing a license to come into SFR, and that license is handed to him by the stewards and the race director and admins themselves. What can Abraham do? Can he steal pole position from Nikos and take that might be a big invalidation there, and it is. No, it isn't. DRS open. Pushing hard. Can he steal it? No, he can't. It's only 12 for Nikos. Abraham struggling at this track. Walters, again, pushing as hard as he can on his lap time. Ferraris both in the top 10. This is great mixed grid. It's like watching Le Mans. It'll be really interesting. Sector 1, there is a yellow flag. That's further back, though. We're looking at Walters. What can he do in the Mercedes? He's normally very quick. But what can he do? Pushing absolutely hell for leather right now. Look at our turn in there as he's chucking that car in and out. Little bit of rear end slide though. That might cost you. John Heaven-Terry improves but cannot take it even further to pole position. There's still 2 tenths in it. Is Walters going to be the driver to spoil Ferrari's day and take it from Nikos? Who won last night? I'm trying to think what engine manufacturer won last night. I think it was a Mercedes that won last night. So it was Mercedes themselves as their works team. So maybe Walters or Dark Sim Racer, though Dark Sim Racer has left, is going to be the one driver to want to improve that and make it a double. What can Walters do? Coming around the final corner now, DRS open. He's bailing into pit lane. That's it. What can Abraham do? He's on another set of tyres. There's lots of races going on right now. Who was that? Perez goes P3. Medium Pilot, though, taking it by just a smidgen there. Abraham still can't manage to get into the top 10. Still the P13. But by the looks of it, it looks like, yes, it is. Medium Pilot in the McLaren, the championship leader, takes pole position here tonight in the Premier Division. McLaren's woes all hand on the one driver's heart. That's Medium Pilot. He's leaving the championship. His teammate, as there's contact, the AI is making big contact there. Abraham's struggling to get his McLaren tuned in for this one circuit here in France. My other cat's come to say hello to her. Hello. You came and said hello during GP2. Are you going to come and say? Are you actually going to say something this time? You're not as chatty as Kitty, are you? Do you want to run through the grid for me? You? She just added the mic for you. But here is the grid here in France for the French Grand Prix. Where's my controller? There it is. Medium pilot P1 ahead of Nikos in P2, John Heaventerry in P3, Perez in P4, Dobby in P5, Dark Sim Racer in P6, Raikkonen in P7, Wishbone in P8, Fotio in P9, P-Walters in P10. Outside of the top 10, and with free tyre choice coming into this Grand Prix, is Gasly in P11, C. Pasley in P12, Ibrahim is in P13, Paulie is in P14, Smelly Badger is in P15, Sykomich down in P16. Crap paces, Ibrahim. Ibrahim down there with the GP2 drivers. He's going to really struggle to fight this one. Okay. I wonder if the admins would ever consider adding extra points to the drivers that come in and save the divisions. Like Sykomich, who's come in now and raced here completely off his own back because he wanted another race. Maybe he should be allocated half points for the amount of races he turns up to. There'll be action here from the GP3 drivers jumping into our chat saying good luck to all the drivers. Good luck to everyone, yes. We'll run through, obviously, everyone once more on the standards, on the grid as we head over to Lights Out. My cat is absolutely going mental right now. I found a bit, you know when you find a cat's pressure point behind their ear and you keep scratching it because they want to scratch it themselves and they just can't get it. You're right, lovely. Just give me a kiss the microphone in there. Come here. Hi, lovely. You're very pretty. Alright, so let's run through the grid. Do you want to do it, or should I? I'll do it. Okay. So, medium pilot is in P1 on the super soft tyres. We'll just get everything set up. On the super soft tyres, ahead of Nikos in P2 on the super soft tyres. John Heaventerry on the super soft tyres in P3, heading the Racing Point battle with Perez in P4 with the super softs. Dobby in P5, any of the super soft run for now for the Alfa Romeo. Dark Sim Racer should be here, but is not here due to leaving the session. He is in P6 on the ultra soft tyres, hopefully, but there's no ghost there, so it won't be a problem. Raikkonen is in P7 on the soft tyres, the only driver to qualify on the hardest compound tyres in the top 10. And a Wishbone the Cook on the super soft tyres in P8. In P9 is Fotio on the super soft tyres, and P10 is P-Bolters on the super soft tyres. Now outside of the top 10, and with free tyre choice, comes Gasly in P11 on the super soft tyres, ahead of C. Pasley on the super soft tyres. Then it would be Ibrahim in P13 on the super soft tyres, but he's been disqualified. There's Paulie in P14 on the super soft tyres. P15 is Smelly Badger on super softs, and P16 would be Sykomich on the super soft tyres, on the soft tyres, sorry, but he's been disqualified. And P17 is Stam, racing in the Red Bull tonight. And he is on the soft tyres, after not qualifying. He's also on a default setup, as shown by the lack of pace he's going to have. So it'll be interesting to see if on a default setup, if he's any quicker than the drivers ahead of him, who are from GP2 and GP3, respectively. Really is interesting. Abraham's first race. So this is Abraham's first race here in France at Paul Ricard. So that explains why his lack of pace. So it should be really interesting to see what the starts are going to be like. Obviously, not much rubber. Looks like someone might have span up a little bit too much through the grids, but now the AI comes and lines them up. What can they do coming into this race? 27 laps of racing here in France. And we'll see what we can do. Drivers all lining up. My cat is laying on my phone. I am sat here, ready to do commentary. 5 red lights. When the lights go out, the drivers are away. The lights are out. Now the drivers are away. Long hold for the drivers. John Heaventerry at both racing points with penalties, and Dobby with jump start penalties. They side through, but they top 3 will be making pit stops now. Medium pilot trying to defend from Nikos into turn 1, but he has failed. Nikos jumping up the inside. He's gone off track. Dobby off track as well. Drivers coming through. Here comes medium pilot once more, trying to go for the lead of the Grand Prix. We're going to discount the top 3 right now because they have penalties. There's going to be contact now as looking at Nikos defending, and then medium pilot with the inside line has made the move, and he is still leading it. Dobby pulling off the circuit after having an oversteer moment. He's stopped on track right now. See Pasley dropping down the position. Paulie, no, it is. What is Dobby doing out there? Dobby has retired for the session. Okay. Jump stop penalty, clearly he's not happy about it. He has left the session. Now going around the outside once again. Nikos swooping around the outside. More drivers, more chaos right now. Raikkonen dropping a position to Walters. Walters, who started in P10, getting a great move on, but he's going to lose position once more to Kimi if he's not careful. See, rounding outside, trying to go around. There is Kimi, but he hasn't made his stick. He's still there though, and he's got to watch out. And Walters has just let him through, has let him stay ahead. Sykovic battling with C. Pasley in the background. He has lost position. Pauly dropping down as well, having a poorly start, if you will. Helium Pie looking for it. Gasly seems to be struggling. No, he's battling with Abraham hard. Abraham off track, trying to find a movement. Gasly is defending his hardest, trying to get his way around, but Gasly dropping out. And losing position. So leading us away is not the Force India of Perez. It is actually Nikos. Perez has a drive-through penalty. He'll be taking that within the first 3 laps of the race. He'll try and extend his gap, yes, but he will not be leading the race come 3 laps in. Unless he can gain that much of a gap. The pit lane here is remarkably long. Smelly Badger battling his hardest, and there's Stam, who started P17 into P10, trying to defend from Smelly Badger. Smelly Badger trying to go down the inside of the Red Bull, and it hasn't happened. Smelly Badger normally driving a Red Bull, but this time in the Renault. Whoa, a quality corner cut from Stam there. The Greek driver struggling with track limits in this track. Smelly Badger will have the run on the Red Bull though. Who's quicker? Stam moving one side onto the dirty side of the track. Look at the dust being picked up. Sorry, the dust. What am I on about? The dirt. But now cutting back across Smelly Badger, and it's affecting him because look at the dirt on his tyres. He can't stop that car whatsoever. See Pasley, Smelly Badger's teammate, the GP3 driver, looking strong, trying to find his way through as well. Here comes Smelly Badger on, following him now through here. What can 71 do? He's lost the rear end. Smelly Badger spinning. He's back on track. Is there going to be contact? No, it's almost contact. And he sits there being very smart, waiting for people to come through. John Heaven-Terry will be the next driver to pass him. And he's just gone straight through him. Thank God for that. He must be absolutely counting his stars right now. There's Nikos pit. He is making no effort to pit as of yet. Hopefully he actually serves this penalty and doesn't just continue on. He has one more lap to serve it. See Pasley now struggling on traction behind Stam. Stam, who's closing in on Abraham. What a brilliant start here to see the drivers go through. Hello, Racing Point. Sorry, I didn't notice that. Perez with a time penalty. He's pushing hard to try and improve on that. Fotio coming through the first couple of corners, trying to get his way up and through. Closest battle on track right now is not actually the one we're looking at. It's C. Pasley on the back of Stam. Stam's default setup really hurting him tonight on the soft tyres. C. Pasley trying to get his way turned in. He have an engine glitch on the Renault as well, which is really unfortunate. DRS opening and he's pushing as hard as he can. C. Pasley looking to find a way through. It hasn't happened so far. Stam, who's actually closing in much sooner on Abraham rather than under pressure from the Renault ahead. Abraham, who's circuited himself off track right now. Here comes Stam. Here comes Steve Pasley, sorry, trying to close in on Stam as quick as you like. Comes the Irishman on the Greek driver. Down the inside comes Steve Pasley. A little bit of a force off there. Might have been a little bit of contact on one of their screens. P. Volters dropping him into Wishbone. No, trying to get it past him again. And Wishbone just trying to find any movement of that car ahead. He's trying to get his way through with Nikos under pressure as Perez finally pits. DRS opening on medium pilot as he slides through the air, trying to find his way past the Ferrari ahead. On board now with Pauly. What can he do? DRS opening on the Toro Rosso, trying to get past Sykovic, the fast starting Sykovic, GP3 driver, showing his absolute worth here tonight against the Premier drivers. Obviously, we don't really know Pauly's pace due to him not being vetted by SFR as of yet, but he's quick at this moment in time, and he's trying to find his way up and past the Haas. It has to be done soon, and the 88 car is not making any effort yet. He's under pressure as well from John Heaven-Terry. John Heaven-Terry making an inopportune move there down the inside, trying to pressure the Toro Rosso out of the way. The Racing Point just getting the better exit there. DRS opening on John Heaven-Terry. We know how quick he is. We really do. He's on the inside. This isn't the optimal line into that chicane, but it has worked. He has made a move stick. Now he's going to make short work of Psychomich. Obviously, remember, no blue flags in this situation. They can keep racing no matter what position they're in. John Terry, he's going to try up the inside of the fast right-hander. Is he going to attempt to? He does not. He's going to sit behind him. But he does actually go for it. And Psychomich running away with it. Trying to defend from him. I think Psychomich there just thought, okay, he's a Prem driver. I know he's quicker than me. Let's let him through and just try and continue on with his battle. Here's Medium Pilot trying to find his way past Nikos. Again, struggling on traction out of there. He struggled all the way through this race on traction out of that final corner. Lap 5 out of 27 here. Such a short lap. On board with Fotio as he tries to get past Wishbone. Wishbone trying to get onto the podium. It's interesting as well. Look at this. Medium Pilot turning off his engine now. The Renault-powered McLaren looking at passing the Ferrari. And it isn't happening so far. He's trying to get the traction out. He's got to make this move soon. Ibrahim under pressure as well from Steve Pasley. The Renault wanting to make its way past the its customer team. Look at how quick Nikos is on the straight. I think we saw this last night really with Mike Bundy and a couple of other drivers as Perez gets past Paulie as well. Mike Bundy, you have to be really within 3 tenths at the start of that straight to really capitalise on the DRS behind you. Raikkonen on the back of Fotio. Is this going to happen sooner or later? We'll see. Fotio struggling. Kimi trying to go around the outside, trying to find any form of movement, trying to let Fotio know he's there. He's trying to look at Fotio closing the door on him, quick as you like for the Ferrari. Toro Rosso right up behind. 2 Italian teams absolutely battling. But it hasn't happened so far. Psychomich dropping a position to Perez as Perez slides through. Remember, different tyre compounds in use there. But also Psychomich. Oh, Abraham, maybe a little bit of a brake check there for C. Pasley. C. Pasley, who will not be happy about that. We'll see that, obviously, later on with the stewards. We'll see if any of that takes action. And once more, we're going to look back up at the leaders. Is there a possible move coming soon? I think Medium Pilot is struggling on straight line speed versus Nikos. Do excuse me as I just take a drink quickly. Again, Pasley actually drawing alongside Ibrahim. And he has passed Ibrahim. Maybe in the braking zone he's done it. Let's have a look at it. He has passed him coming into the first couple of corners. So the Season 1 champion being, as you would say, mugged by the GP3 driver who's going to try and run away from him. Pasley, brilliant driver. And he's actually stuck it to the champion. And now he's going to see how quick Ibrahim is. Ibrahim, obviously, who already has penalties. Fotio getting passed by Kimi. Now, what's Stam going to do? Is Stam going to try a Daniel Ricciardo-style dive bomb? He has not tried it. And Ibrahim going deep, but that is a good line for the chicane. They have a wiggle there from Pasley's car as they try and find any form of traction. Ibrahim trying to defend himself now more than anything. Fotio on the back of it. Ibrahim, whoa, a little bit of lag from Pasley there. Stam has decided to take the alternate line coming into the late apex corner, and he has made the move stick. Oh, there's contact there. I heard the thump in my earphone. And Ibrahim is going to stay ahead of Stam. Big oversteer moment there from the Force India as we have a look at it. Look at that. Ibrahim taking a much neater, tighter line there to the corner, but he still hasn't made it past. But he's past Stam. Lots of rear end slip there. We're going to go 3 wide. I think we're going to try and go 3 wide here into 2-1. We've seen it happen before. 2 wide. Aggressive movements there for the McLaren to try and put the racing point off. There is no point trying to do that. And there is contact there. Contact on 2 ends. Looks like sideways and frontways for John Terry. What can Terry do? He's trying to defend from Ibrahim as best he can, but Ibrahim cannot make the move and quite cannot defend as of yet. He's got to get attacking. Stam running wide. Ibrahim running wide. Let's have a look at the battle up top because Medium Pilot's trying to make a move on the inside and it hasn't happened on Nick. Once more on board with John Terry as he got his DRS open in the racing point. Is he going to chuck it out on the inside? No, he doesn't chuck it up the inside of Stam. He doesn't want to injure his race yet. He knows he's got a quick car. It was injured enough. There's a big moment there. Stam is going very slow. There's more contact. Ibrahim makes contact with Heaven Terry. Heaven Terry makes contact with Stam. Heaven Terry stopped on track, waiting for Stam to get through. They all drop behind Psychovic. Where is John? John is working once more. What scenes happen now? I was on board with it, so I cannot cough. He has retired for the session. Okay, Stam getting a time penalty for corner cutting and gaining 1 place. That's also an odd penalty, because you don't want to cut a corner and keep it. So, you see, that's Lee's fault. Lee just put in the chat, great race so far. That's absolutely your fault, Lee. That really is. Medium pilot struggling now. Paulie looks like he's had a spin. No, he hasn't. He has dropped a position, though, so maybe a half spin. The medium pilot, again, looks to be the faster car right now. He's trying to make a move on Nick sooner rather than later. It looks like he's taken a couple of laps to charge up his car. DRS opening on medium pilot, trying to find his way past his sweaty advantage, gaining a time penalty in P12. Going up the inside comes medium pilot. No, trying to threaten Nick, saying, I will go up the inside. I will do it. Wishbone dropping a position to Raikkonen. Lock up there from someone. It looked to be P. Walters, who's just ahead of it. And Nick with a time penalty as well. Lee saying, jinxed it. Yes, you did. Slap on the wrist for the race director. Medium pilot controlling his car heavily. He's going to try and make a move as best he can on Nick, but it isn't happening. Funnily enough, 2 drivers using the number 2 spot in their team. The second driver spot getting closer and closer. Here's C. Pasley on the back of Gasly. Gasly trying to defend on the Red Bull. Gasly hasn't made a stick. The number 6 driver way very close together. And Gasly defending his absolute heart out. C. Pasley doing an impressive display here in the Premier Division. What can he do? What can the Irishman get up to? Wishbone is the first driver to pit. Maybe that's for a broken front wing. I'm not sure. We shall take a look at that in a second. Gasly threatening to go into pit lane. No, he doesn't. There is there's no front wing ready for the Alfa Romeo. Now cutting on to the race lead battle now as Gasly actually gets passed by C. Pasley. C. Pasley trying to defend. It looks like lag from Gasly. Yeah, that looks to be lag from Gasly if you ask me. But now, yeah, struggling now. Medium pilot trying to get his way around. He was quicker through last lap. Is he quicker this time? DRS open on the McLaren, trying to find any movement on the Ferrari whatsoever. No, he's not going to chuck it at the inside here. He's too far back again. As I said, you need to be within 3 tenths at the start of that straight in order to pass it. There's contact though between the Alfa Romeo and the Haas. Psychovic fighting against Orchard David. Orchard David just dropping down. It seems the medium pilot is stronger in the final sector, but he can't carry it through the first sector. What can he do with that McLaren-powered car? It's not even a McLaren-powered car, it's a Renault-powered car. There is almost contact between Wishbone and Psycho that time. Psycho just trying to find any form of movement there in his Haas to get through. Perez looking at passing Gasly. Remember, Perez had to serve a drive-through penalty at the start of this race due to jumping the lights. Nikos pulls into pit lane though. Championship leader, former champion in SFR, Season 3 champion. On board with Perez once more in the Force India, the Racing Point car. And there you see C. Pasley defending his absolute heart out there from Gasly. Gasly on the attack. What can he do? Sector 3, there is a yellow flag. It looks to be Abraham. We'll have a look in a minute. Gasly down the inside. We'll have a look quickly at Abraham. No, it wasn't Abraham. And Perez trying to make it 3 the crowd. 3 engine manufacturers here. Renault versus, whoa, contact there. Big contact as the Tag Heuer car pushes him off. And that's a very aggressive move from Gasly. Gasly getting tapped by Perez. Then C. Pasley stealing the position back. Saying, no, you were behind me at the start of the straight. Now DRS open once more on 2 of these drivers. It's going to be Gasly and Pasley. That's my new favourite saying. Pasley trying to go around the outside of Perez. Has it stuck? It has stuck. The GP3 driver overtaking a Premier driver. What a move for the GP3 driver. I did not expect to say that today. Now, Perez trying to go back around the outside. We saw this all end badly last night in GP2. What can these guys do? Are they going to make sure that they don't do it this time? It's still Pasley ahead of Perez. This is a phenomenal drive from Pierre Gasly, from Pasley, but he's off wide. And that is going to cost him a position to Gasly and Perez. There it is. Perez going up the inside and medium pilot into pit lane. What a fantastic battle there for Steve Pasley. Before he made that mistake, he was doing an absolute sterling job there at defending from the Premier drivers. It's like watching a Messerschmitt go against like against the Vulcan. That's like it's like watching a little helicopter fight against the against Concorde, and Concorde is losing. Medium pilot comes out ahead of Nick, so he has jumped him in the pit lane. What can they do now? We saw Nick was particularly fast. Is he faster on this set of tyres? Or is it going to be that that medium pilot is going to defend from him and fight his way to the flag? DRS open on Nick now. Pushing as hard as he can ahead is the McLaren of medium pilot. And Nick trying to make it like, I'm going to go up the inside. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. But he hasn't. Nick running wide there, that will be a penalty. Messerschmitt against Hurricane. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. I don't know planes. I barely know cars. It is suddenly looking rather dark here in France. Actually, could we be expecting some rain? That would be nice and interesting to see if we have some rain right at the end. The medium pilots on the close in as P. Volters are racing the pits. Raikkonen now promoted up to P1. What can he do? The Finnish driver, again, back on board with Nikos, back following the Ferrari as he tries his hardest, his damnedest to close up to the McLaren, who is closing up to Gasly. Gasly who pulls into pit lane, and that's going to have a helpful bout of DRS to medium pilot, who's going to slice up and try and use that as a defence against Nikos, who has jumped his teammate. There's P. Volters getting very close into it now. So in fact, Nikos has lost time. P. Volters going much longer has gained him time and putting right in the battle of the position. Oliver, hello Oliver, jumping in saying, great race. It is a fantastic race. You didn't see what happened when Lee said it was a great race last time. But yes, 12 laps, here in France. And we're missing 3 drivers from this race. Dark Sim Racer, who didn't even take the start, left during qualifying, will be investigated. Dobby, who abandoned the race at turn 3, not because his car failed, well, I don't know, to be honest. I don't know why he did it. And John Heaventerry, in similar fashion, doing it. He got caught in an incident, and he did it last time. Steve Pasley doing an absolutely excellent job, yes. 1 second ahead of Gasly in the pit lane. So Gasly right up behind him. That gap's going to come down. We've seen how quick Gasly is, but we can't pass Pasley whatsoever. Dobby had lag, saying Lee Carroll. So, yeah, race director confirming that Dobby was overused on lag, so we didn't want to race. He said he don't. I think that's a good way of doing it. You know, saying that if there's too much lag. Sector 2, and Abraham retires in Sector 2. That looks to be the fast right-hander. Will go on board with Smelly Badger. It's a little bit further back than that. Yellow flag's waving down here. Oh, he's lost it on the straight. He has lost it on the straight there. So, he has, in fact, retired. Whoa. Rain? So apparently it is going to be starting raining. So maybe Abraham saw it was raining before it. Maybe it started raining on Abraham's screen before everyone else. Wishbone pits. This is possibly the worst time to pit, because if the rain comes down now in France, it's going to be horrible for him. Wishbone has left the session. Dropping like flies, the drivers. Maybe they're... Oh, actually, I have no response to why drivers will be dropping like this. Rain is coming, though. Confirmed by the McLaren driver of Abraham. Rain is coming. Should be within the next couple of laps. I think we'll see a bout of a splash of rain on the cars. Keep an eye on it. Normally the frame rate jumps a little bit, judders a little bit before it starts to come down. Now P. Volters on the back of Nikos. He's gone down the inside. This normally isn't the overtaking line. Clearly proved wrong there by P. Volters. The amount of speed he got in there, he has to lock up in order to carry through. And Nikos again running wide. Penalties galore. Is going to completely destroy us. And rain. Look at that. It already looks misty, but it doesn't look like there's rain on the visors of the cars yet. At least not on my screen. So 75 now trying to find his way past the number 4 German driver ahead of him. So race director jumping in saying Kimi might have done a good job. Yes, Kimi obviously not stopping. We saw those tyres go very long last night in GP2, but it wasn't much longer, so he's got to hope for the rain to come down now or never. I'm wondering where the rain's going to strike first. We've not seen... Oh, there was a little bit of evidence there on the car, but nothing drastic. So the rain's going to start coming down soon. A few volters with a time penalty for cutting T1. No other gaps are forming right now, so it gives me a chance to just put my controller down and have a drink. Look at the gap, though, between... as Wishbone's actually lost the position. Obviously, he left the session, so I think that might be down to lag. Hopefully he can rejoin. He is a ghost now. The ghost of Bones past. He's a skeleton. We want to see this rain now come down. If we look at Raikkonen now, the gap is starting to come down as his tyres start to wear, and he has to take alternate little precautions to keep himself going. He's having to lift off on that, but there is no rain yet on my screen. Abraham, you didn't lie to me, did you? Because you know how excited I get when it starts raining. Everyone knows I love the rain. I actually love the rain in real life as well. Smelly Badger coming up the past, the bones of the past, and he has done it. I guess he has skeletons in his closet. I'll see myself out. Gasly now starting to close in again. Look at that, Gasly not close enough to pass Pasley. What a fantastic drive for C. Pasley there. For GP3, he's absolutely outperforming some of the drivers. He's outclassing drivers that should be really quicker than him. And it just shows how quick he is around this track. Absolutely phenomenal. DRS open on Nick now as he tries to close in on Volters, but Volters too fast. I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. It might be Walters. I think it's Volters. Valters? I think it's Valters. Yeah. We'll go with Volters on our end though. Where is this rain? I want rain. Come on, SpeedForce gods, give us the rain. We want to go back to being SpeedForce raining. I'm going to expect a comment from Lee in a second going, no. The gap's still coming down. We checked a couple of laps ago. It's now dropped by 2 seconds. It's dropping even more. It's going to be less than 13 seconds in a minute. If you're wondering, that is not enough time for a pit lane, for a pit stop. And Paulie also doing a different alternate strategy, hoping for the rain to come down. Now, if it is raining, and we just can't see it, that might be... Oh, there it is! There's the flash of rain. And ladies and gentlemen, the rain begins to fall. It's threatened all week. It was nice and sunny yesterday. And it's raining now here in the Premier Division. We have nearly 10 laps to go. Will it rain heavily enough for intermediate tyres? This could also be as Raikkonen's had to pit. Has that cost him it? Yes, he's coming in for dry tyres. That's Kimi's race. Oh no, you got to feel for the guy because he sat there hoping the rain would come. He's had to go what? He's had to go into the pit lane. Now, is the question going to be, is it going to rain heavy enough to have the intermediate or even the full wet tyres on the cars for the last 11, 12 laps of racing we have right now? Following Gasly as he gets closer and closer to the Renault. DRS is going to open now on Gasly's car. He looks remarkably quick compared to C. Pasley. Can Gasly pass C. Pasley? Gasly's going to look to go at the inside. No, he isn't. He's going to actually sit behind him and pressurise the GP3 driver. And what a deal of pressure he's dealing from tonight. I think weekly best driver is going to go to C. Pasley. He's doing fantastically. He's raced everywhere he can to build up confidence for Monday's race here. And look at this. Phenomenal display of driving from C. Pasley. Able to get the car still turned in there. DRS opening on Gasly. Gasly. Look at how fast C. Pasley is in the straights though. It's phenomenal. It's like he's got DRS open. Gasly just can't pass him. It's fantastic. I know it sounds like I'm just completely fanboying over Pasley right now. In fact, I really like Gasly. He's a lovely chap. But, like, it's just fantastic to watch this. Just to see GP3 absolutely mugging every four. Oh, GP3 driver, he won't be able to pass me. He's defending from you. That's exactly what I'm thinking right now. You can imagine he sat there thinking, how is this guy so fast? Rear end slip there from Gasly. Maybe it's becoming wet. Wetter than we need right now. We see Walters, he's struggling in the wet. The rain hammering down. It's not really settling on the car yet, but it is coming through. This time Gasly's even closer. Pasley just disappearing on the straight. Gasly's using everything. Fuel, ERS, everything under the sun. He pulls to the inside to try and make the Renault go deep. It hasn't happened. Soaking up the... Look, the cars, he's starting to settle on the cars now. But he's soaking up the pressure tonight like a sponge. It also comes with a bit of rain, the pressure tonight for Pasley. And Pasley driving this race like it's absolute Christmas. He's just not bothering. Well, he is bothering, but at the same time, he's not phased. Like, if you're going to pass me, pass me. Rear end slip though from Gasly. Can he control it as he comes up and onto the Mistral straight? In fact, he's quicker on the Mistral straight. DRS still active though. It needs moist conditions here in France, and I'm absolutely intrigued by this race. Smelly Badger though, he's going to try and make a move on Sykomich coming onto the straight. DRS open on Smelly Badger. DRS. Abraham jumping in, the McLaren driver saying it's time for intermediate tyres. That's what he thinks. What does Jeff think? There's no DRS in activation yet. The DRS still going, which normally means as he Smelly Badger drops position to past the position to Sykomich. When it's still got DRS open, it normally means that you can still keep going on the dry tyres. We're not going to pass here. And trying to go out the inside. Stam actually pitting. Is that going to be for the green walled intermediate tyres? I believe it might be. See Pasley trying to defend his best. Go on board with Gasly, see what's going to happen. Super soft tyres go onto Stam's car. The driver's not thinking it's wet enough yet. I think that it might just be wet enough now. So drivers may have made big mistakes here. Here on board with Perez as he tries to get past Fotio. What an enthralling Grand Prix. Really is entertaining. So Perez, DRS open on the Racing Point car. See the remnants of the McLaren on the inside as we just panned across now. Trying to go around the outside of the Ferrari. It is happening. No, it's not happened yet. There's a lot of rear end slip. Race director now having his own conversation in the chat, which I'm not going to broadcast because that's their conversation if you want to know what they're looking at. If you want to know what they're talking about, look at the replay or look at the chat now if you're live. If you're live now, hello. If you want to watch it, if you're watching this back, hello from the future. Future? Oh, we're in the past. What am I on about? Gasly quicker right now, but Pasley just disappearing. I wonder how much Pasley is thinking as he goes through that corner, each lap going, oh my god! He's trying his hardest just to keep it there. I pit for intermediates now. I think that track looks very greasy, and I think it's ready for the greens. On board with Perez. Any driver in the top 10 gonna brave into the pit lane. Any drivers outside the top 10 gonna think about doing it. We've seen Paulie, he's come into the pits as well. Maybe it won't rain enough for the intermediates to be on there. DRS open on Perez now. Is he going to check out the inside? No. In these greasy conditions, you don't want to do that at all. This is greasier than my teenage hair, and I'll tell you that now. It really was greasy when I was a teenager. Can Kimi cause trouble for the top 3? He could. That is the question. But at the same time, it's the choice of when do you pit. Because I think, getting close here, it's as greasy as my hair was when I was 13 years old. And if you see the picture of me when I was 13 years old, Christ, I had long hair. Trying to control the rear end slip. Yeah, I think it's intermediate times. I think it's time for the green tyres. We'll see if Media Pilot agrees. Coming through the fast right-hander. There is a lapped car ahead of him. That is actually Paulie. Back on board with Perez. He gets closer to Fotio's rear end. Closer and closer. And the rear end slipping. Will we see the treaded tyres be put onto cars yet? They're having to lift off and shift down. The rain is coming down and it's staying here. We're not going to lose it in the last 8 laps of the Grand Prix. There's going to be contact here. It's getting closer and closer, and Perez overtaking off track there. Medium pilot is in. Perez dropping a position now to Nikos. Fotio. Fotio trying to defend his hardest. Fotio actually back ahead now. Perez side by side. And they're going to have to pinch at one point. The green tyres are on medium pilot's car. He has pitted. It's wide. Perez is wide. He's lost the position due to losing the rear end. Now, it shows how treacherous this track is in the wet. Raikkonen on the back of only a couple of drivers choosing to pit. Medium pilot being one of them. And Perez. Perez might have caused a good couple of moments here. And I think it's going to be interesting. Both Pasley and Gasly pit. Here's Raikkonen on the straight, still faster than Nikos. He's ahead of him. And he tucks back in. DRS has been disabled. Pauli getting his 10-second time penalty for corner cutting. Did he just straight line the chicane? I do hope he didn't. And that's it. That is the call. Normally for every driver, that is the call to get into pit lane and get those tyres off the cars. And we'll be sure to say that one more lap. Sector 3, we have a yellow flag. Who is it? It wasn't these guys. That battle is still raging between Gasly and Pasley. That is my new favourite pairing. They have avocado and ham on the F1 t-shirts. I want Gasly and Pasley. God, if we made t-shirts, it'd be really cool to see if anybody would buy SFR t-shirts. I have to trademark everything as well. And the amount of times I change that logo. Oh. Wishbone in for new tyres, but he's a ghost. The ghost of Bones past. Now Pasley. Look at that, Pasley's wide. And Gasly's actually got to run this time. No DRS to help the Red Bull. He's on the run. He is quicker, but again, Pasley's so much quicker. I want to know who's got the more penalties. Pauli retires in sector 3. Then it goes bad to worse for the unvetted driver. And Gasly trying to find any form of way past the Renault. He's quicker in these conditions. 7 laps remain. Oh, is he going to try to be silly? He is going to think about it. But no, he lifts off. And Pasley controlling the car. Pasley's your red slip though. Pasley into the barrier. Pasley is out after such a phenomenal race. The GP3 driver has been removed from the session after crashing. And I feel bad for him. He was doing absolutely phenomenal. And just that little bit too much power. You saw it coming. The way his rear end was sliding. No safety car deployed. Fotio dropping down. Perez now past him again. He's going to get chasing after his teammate Nikos. We've seen Raikkonen carrying on. I wonder if they're trying to go to full wet tyres. That would be interesting. Big mistake from from Walters. Apparently he's getting caught by medium pilot by 10 seconds. Oh, he has just as well. You're all correct. The gap coming down. If these guys are waiting for full wet conditions, it might not be far away, to be honest. But again, the intermediates and the full wets on this game, very close together. So it could be interesting to see which driver goes to those blue tyres. Yep, more people are green and they're brave staying out on those tyres. What can Walters get up to? Does he pit this time round? It will put him into, I think, 3rd. Maybe 3rd, maybe 4th. He does not pit. He's going over one more lap. What does Kimi do? Kimi continues on as well. I think I'll let this one show. I don't normally, but I'm going to let this one show from C. Pasley because we all loved how C. Pasley felt in that race. We all feel him, and he has made it into the chat. No, mate, we feel for you on that one. You were doing fantastically. We're looking at Raikkonen right now. We're going to stay on P. Walters. No gaps closing as much as these guys are. Actually, medium pilot closed in massively that lap. He's right on the back of him now. And I think Raikkonen may have made a mistake. It could get close to full wet conditions there. Oh, almost contact though as the Toro Rosso loses its traction on the curb. And the McLaren luckily not losing his wing on that or his wheel on the back tyre. They come through here. Look at the way that P. Walters is stealing with the seesaw effect. I hope I don't feel lonely up here, says Chuan as he comes into us. But look at this. What a fantastic move. See, medium pilot, getting his way past P. Volters, who cannot keep the power down through that section. So 22 seconds, these guys have a potential of still being on the podium here, but we saw how quickly the gap formed. I think that if they're going to wait for full wet conditions, it'll be fantastic. No, I'm not lonely up here. It's been such an exhilarating race here. The Premier Division. The P. Volters, big oversteer moment. He's off onto the painted outside run. He's very wide. Could have re-entered the track a few times. Fotio getting a time penalty. Was going well into the rain here. I think that it still is remarkably interesting to see if you look at that Raikkonen and Volters ice dancing, and I think one of them has to bail into pit lane at some point, and they're not doing it. What are they doing? The German driver trying to defend from Raikkonen. Stam a 10-second penalty for corner cutting. Is there a 10-second corner cut placed on there? It's like just came into commentary. So, wanted to brighten your day, but so coming up here, balls of steel, yeah. But I don't normally mention certain types of body parts on here, but balls of steel, yes. How do they even fit in the cars with them? They're so big. The gap is dropping though to Nick, and they're just doing it. They're just still going. 10 seconds, medium pilot is absolutely... I'm going to swear now, and I don't normally swear on stream, but I am going to quote Jeremy Clarkson on the Grand Tour. He has just fucked off. He really has. That shows the difference with the superstar tyres versus the intermediate tyres. He's absolutely just gone for it. CPAS is saying test race. Yeah, brilliant test race for you, CPAS. You did just as well as you did at defending it, and now you know that in the wet conditions, you need to lift off a little bit more in that corner. And there you go, Volters struggling on it. Medium pilot still in P1. And Sykovic, in fact, closing in on it. So as long as he keeps it on track, and so is Smelly Badger, both will have a scorer from GP3 and a scorer from GP2 here in the Premier Division. Does Raikkonen pit? Jamie does swear. Yeah, I have done it. They're safe for the podium, says Abraham. I did swear, yeah, I did. It's going to be really interesting. At the rate that Nikos is catching them, I don't think he'll make it on the podium. But Raikkonen and Volters continuing on the dry tyres. One of these guys, if their tyres don't pop, because Volters is going to get close to them popping, if he doesn't get a flat tyre, then it's going to get really close. But look at that, he's just absolutely disappeared. He's medium pilot. I know we haven't seen him much of the race, but he has just disappeared into the distance. Drivers that will not make it to the checkered flag tonight: Wishbone McCook, C. Pasley, Paul Lee, Abraham, John Heaventerry, F1 Dobby, and Dark Sim Racer will not make it to the end of the Grand Prix. Lots of sliding there from P. Volters. I know I'm just jumping between the slick tyre runners right now, so it's just really interesting. Super Softs won't last, says C. Pasley. I don't think the softs won't last either. We could see punchers, and obviously punchers on a wet surface when they already don't have any traction. It's going to be really interesting. Absolute cojones of steel on these drivers right now. I guess carbon fibre. Actually, if they were steel, then that's ballast. But I think it's more nice big carbon fibre ones. I want a quote from one of these guys. I want a quote, and I want to know what they're going to say, because there's no feasible way that either one of these guys can do it. Pazzy saying, Lisa, DRS has been enabled. We're back to slick running, guys. Or we're close to slick running. The last couple of laps, that might have just saved these guys' race. If it suddenly goes dry, I didn't even notice the rain was coming down. Well, starting the lesson, but we had a wet period, and now right at the end of Grand Prix, with 3 laps to go, the possibility of it becoming dry is there again. Are we going to see it nice and dry? Is Volters going to be on the podium? Is Nick going to be on the podium? Is Raikkonen going to be on the podium? Who knows? Perez could be up on the podium as well tonight. Questions that need to be answered. It all makes sense now, says Lee. It really does. Nick, though, with another time penalty, that might solidify him to be off the podium. Fotio is taking a massive, absolute risk going out on the Ultrasofts now. That might cost him. Here's Gasly. Gasly coming in as well. They have been called in for slick tyres. They can't have been called in already, can they? Slick tyres going on board the Red Bull. The other Red Bull double stacking, he's going to get absolutely screwed over. Come on, Red Bull, go on with it. That might have just saved their podium there. What does Medium Pilot do? What's he going to do? Is he going to get those slick tyres on? Is he going to go for another lap? I think I'll go for slick tyres. This is starting to look very, very dry. No way they'll gain from that. They won't lose a position. They won't gain a position, but they'll gain if Nikos pits, won't they? And they continue on. Medium Pilot is in. He'll go for ultra soft tyres, I believe. What's Nikos going to do? He's the money man right now. We've seen drivers in this race push the soft tyres to. There is a dry line. Look at that, a phenomenal dry line there. We've seen drivers push it to lap 15 on the soft tyres. So Raikkonen will make it. He still has one more lap on those banks. Raikkonen has made it into P1 right now. Nikos hasn't pitted. Nikos carrying on one more lap. That might have doomed him. Same with Perez, might have doomed him. They might think, no, I can keep going. That might have doomed any chance of it going now. Here's Gasly on the ultra soft tyres. Yeah, that's dry running. They're able to go through that tyre so quick. We'll see Mercedes, not Mercedes, sorry. 10 seconds of that won't be worth it. Psychomich actually on the back. Smelly Badger decided not to. The GP3 driver overtaking GP2. Two reserve drivers battling it out, and this time Psychomich wins out. And the Red Bull driver getting passed by the Haas driver. I said Red Bull because Smelly Badger drives a Red Bull in GP2. 3 seconds. Has the gap been enough? Smelly Badger with blue flags. What a run there. Raikkonen, I think he's starting to struggle on that car. P. Volta's son, he is. Yeah, he's struggling. Whoa, big over little corrections there on Volta's car. Where's Nikos? To be fair, he might have worn those tyres to the point that they are slicks at this point. Who's going to win the race? I have no idea. Raikkonen now coming through the final corner to start the final lap of the Grand Prix. Absolutely pushing the McLaren. Will he be denied here in France? Battles forming everywhere. Final lap of the race. Is this Raikkonen's day or Medium Pilot's day? Is P. Volta's going to make it to the podium? If I see any yellow flag and I'm not looking at one of the two drivers that have pushed the tyres to the absolute limit, I'm going to think it's either these two or it's Nikos or Perez. 5 tenths is the gap. This is the last real shot for Medium Pilot to get the run down now. He's on the inside. He's got the DRS open. It hasn't happened yet. I'm leant forward. My face is pushed against the glass in the commentary booth. Look how deep Medium Pilot is trying to do. He's trying to find any chance of it. Raikkonen with a time penalty. That might just knock it off from the podium. There's Psychomich ahead. Blue flags will be in effect in a moment. Medium Pilot lifted off through that. Why do you do that? Medium Pilot lifting off. He knows he's got a penalty. He's been told. On the road, it looks like. Oh, Raikkonen. No, he is still going around. Do excuse me. I thought he was going to go around there. Medium Pilot. Is he struggling on gearbox there? He's coming through. So on the final corner on the road, Raikkonen is going to win the race for Toro Rosso. But due to penalties, he is going to lose the race there. Sector 3, we have a yellow. Medium Pilot is our winner tonight. Is it a puncture? No puncture for P. Voltas. He makes it to the podium. Perez struggling. Nikos, it looks like Perez might have had a half spin somewhere. Nikos coming home in P4. What a phenomenal race there. Perez is round. Almost making contact with Smelly Badger. And Perez losing a position to Fotio. That shows the risk of going one lap longer. And his car is absolutely cooked. That Racing Points had enough. What a phenomenal race. Strategy calls galore. But there is our winner tonight. Medium Pilot and P1 ahead of Raikkonen. Maybe on track ahead of him. But on penalties, Raikkonen has lost the race. 5 tenths is the gap. This is the last real shot for Medium Pilot to get the run down now. He's on the inside. He's got the DRS open. It hasn't happened yet. I'm leant forward. My face is pushed against the glass in the commentary booth. Look how deep Medium Pilot is trying to do. He's trying to find any chance of it. Raikkonen with a time penalty. That might just knock it off from the podium. Medium Pilot lifted off through that. Why do you do that? P Volters again making it to P3. There they are, all three of them having a nice fun time connecting with one another. We'll see if we can have a chat with all three of them at the end of that. I really do want to talk to them. 44 minutes this race was. What a go for. Stam with the fastest lap at the end. No award for it this season, but still fastest lap. So I think we're just waiting for the back marker Psycho Mitch to finish now. Stay on board with Medium Pilot. His lap time obviously stopped. Just waiting on Psycho Mitch. But look at that, Psycho Mitch and Smelly Badger in the Premier race where they really shouldn't be here have done it. There it is, Medium Pilot P1. There we are, McLaren in P1, ahead of Toro Rosso in P2, Mercedes in P3. 3 of the 4 engine manufacturers in Formula 1 on the podium. And one of them is a works team. A German, a Finn, and a British driver on the podium. We normally see it, but we didn't see it in that fashion today. What a race. So here are the final results, barring any stewards' investigations. Medium Pilot is in P1 ahead of Raikkonen P2 on penalties. P3 is Volters, and P4 is Nikos. P5 is Fosio, and P6 is Perez. P7 is Gasly. P8 is Stam. P9 was Psycho Mitch, and P10 was Smelly Badger. Give it up for those two who came here to reserve. Out to the race who didn't finish were Wishbone the Cook, C. Pasley, Paulie, Abraham, John Heaventerry, and Dobby, who had lag at the start and decided not to finish. And we also had Dark Sim Racer, who didn't continue. This race, remember at Brazil 2008? Yeah, that is exactly it. Medium Pilot leaving the session, so I don't think we'll be talking to him. Brazil 2008, that is, Fabian, that is the best comparison I've ever seen there. Look at that, Walters from P10 on the grid. So we'll get them into the party in a moment, have a chat with them. Then we'll do the closing statements on stream, as always. Let's get them in now, shall we? View profile, let's get Kimmy in. 6 seconds again, please. And we'll just wait to invite P. Volters in a minute. It's funny that we actually get to talk to the 2 drivers that chose that alternate strategy call in the wet. What phenomenal choice that was, and it'll be really interesting to see how they feel about chatting. Where's Volters? Oh, Volters has left the session, so I cannot invite him. So it looks like we'll just be talking to Raikkonen then. Yeah, I think drivers need to remember to stay in the lobby if they want to talk to me at the end of the race. But still, absolutely fantastic race from that. And give it up to the GP2 and the GP3 driver, Smelly Badger and Psycho Mitch, who made it to the end of the race. Absolutely fantastic from them. So we'll wait and see if we can see. We'll wait to see if we can find, what's his name, Raikkonen. Raikkonen has joined us now. How you doing, my friend? Is your voice set to share? Okay, it's alright. We can just wait now for Raikkonen to make sure everything's alright.
Yeah, it's good right now.
Alright, mate. So, we'll have, oh, okay, I can invite P. Volters to the interview. Just give me a second. I'll just invite P. Volters in. Quickly before we do that. Where are we going? Do I have him on my friends list? I think I have him on my friends list. Do excuse me while I greet each other, so I might have to go through the party chat in a second. Profit Craig, Jesus. I'm just looking at my friends list for the first time since the name change Alright, so I invited via name. Do excuse me. Oh, sorry, trying to find the right button. Sorry, Raikkonen. This is me being an idiot right here. P. Volters, there he is. Let's get him in. Do excuse us. Whoa, what's happened there? Okay. Better race than China. Yeah, this was a better race than the Fowles Grand Prix at China. Christ, that was awful. And there's Pete Walters joining us. We'll just check with you, Walter. Is your voice set to share? Brilliant. We'll actually start with you, Walter. Mate, I mean, to both of you, congratulations to phenomenal. No one, I think, on this grid deserved the podium more than you two, braving it out on the slick tyres in the rain. Walters, why? And is your name Timo Glock? So just talk about it. In qualifying, you seem to struggle. Qualifying P10 and finishing P3. Just take us through how the hell that happened.
I didn't practice one lap.
Sorry, I'm going to have to stop you, mate. Apparently, we can't hear you on stream. So can we just check that your voice set share again?
Yeah.
You know what, in all of this, we'll get the chat, because the chat's a little bit active today. We'll ask if you guys have any questions for the top two for P3 and P2 of this race. If you want to ask that question, get it in now, and I'll hand it over to drivers in a moment. Bit of real name request from Gasly, apparently. He wants to know what my real name is. If you're trying to steal my identity, you don't want this identity. Alright, shall we try again, Walters? Okay, so just to hope that your voice is set to share now, just run through that race for us now after qualifying P10.
Yeah, I didn't practice any. I just didn't find the time. In fact, I really I was very unprepared, and that's why I think that's the reason. But I've been erased it. Rain came. More.
So driving in the wet, there is a question for both of you guys that I'll ask you in a second. But driving in the wet on the slick tyres, that's even harder than driving in the race on slick tyres anyway. I mean, how did you do it to control the car? We saw a little bit of oversteer action from you, but how was it? I mean, really out there.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
It was like driving on the snow. So.
But still, you come home with a podium. What a brilliant race. Now, as I informed everyone at the start of the stream, with the Premier Division under threat of closure due to lack of interest, do you hope to be racing next week in Monza? Or are you really feel like that the Premier Division will be closed by then?
I'll let you answer with us.
Yeah, I really hope to race.
Well,
Yeah,
good
I'm
to hear
gonna be
from you.
there too. I just missed the race last time. I felt asleep, so that never happened. But sorry for that. And yeah, we should be there.
Safe to say, both drivers
But
wanting to
I
head to
got one
Monza.
question. What else did you see any rain on your screen in qualifying for the race?
I didn't see any either.
I had the same. Yeah. And when it started to rain, my engineer was saying it's gonna be to be dry soon. And,
Right. So
uh, yeah,
Well, congratulations on P3, Volters, and we'll move on to Raikkonen, who's feeling very chatty, less so than the normal Raikkonen that we talked to. But, mate, how was that race for you? You seem to just be so controlled.
yeah. So the rain bit very disappointing for me because I started on the south, so I was hoping to catch people at the end. But when it was small rain, it was not a problem. Then I seen the rain coming big, and then everything came complicated, and I took some stupid penalty at the start and in the traffic. I think that's probably compromised me, but probably medium was anyway going to overtake me in last lap if I don't have any penalty. I think he didn't take any risks. So, but yeah, it was a good race. Just shame the rain came for me, but it's okay.
Well, nonetheless, you did a fantastic job, and yes, you won the race on the road, but down the penalties, you lost it. Next week in uh, Italy, if it does happen, clearly you want to race. How do you think you can do there?
Yeah, we're gonna race to win like always.
Well, there is one question in the chat from our race director who wants to know more about his car. Starting with you, Walters, and then we'll head on to you, Raikkonen, straight afterwards. What percentage were you on your tyres at the end? He asks.
Yeah, same. Not time.
Can you estimate any like when you last looked at it, how bad were they?
I didn't look once. I think they were over 50. They didn't feel good.
Yeah, my ties was very bad to us, and I think it's when the big rain came, it completely destroyed the ties.
And there's one from me though. At any point in the rain period, did you think this is going to go to full wets again, starting with you, Walters, and going over to Raikkonen?
What did you say, sorry?
At any point during the rain period, did you believe that it would ever go to full wet?
No, I know the dry time was coming, but the question was just when, because it was taking too long, and the engineer was keeping to say me it was going to be dry. So I listened to him. He's supposed to have better information than me, so I follow him, and but I think we had some luck that. In our bad luck that it came at the end.
Walters, do you concur?
Yeah, absolutely. We had luck at the end.
Yeah, at lap 23, I was thinking to not finish on the podium.
That's time.
So a shock for both drivers to be on the podium tonight, but still a brilliant run. So congratulations to both of you guys, and congratulations to Medium Pilot for making it to P1 and able to join us tonight for interviews. But still, was a phenomenal race. So you guys are free to leave if you want to, and we will see you. Hopefully, we'll see you next week in Italy.
Yeah. Bye, so much. Yes, race.
So, what a phenomenal race, clearly showing why the Premier Division should continue in SFR. Now, as I said at the start of the stream, this is not down, the imminent idea of it closing is not down to lack of funds or anything silly. It's down to lack of drivers and lack of commitment. We need drivers with 100% commitment. So if you really believe that you can be up there with the Premier Division, get to us quick, and we'll get you in hopefully next week at Monza. I know that the start and the end of the stream have been quite depressing with the news that I had to deliver, but yes, it has. That has to be delivered at some point. One of us has to do it at the admins. Unfortunately, because I'm head of the media side of things, I have to do it, which is really annoying. But so yes, if you want to keep up to date with what's happening with SFR, please check out the Twitter. That's posted on pretty much every single day. It's at SFR PS4. Really going to be a pain when we get to PS5, but nonetheless, it has been a phenomenal race here. Standout performances from C. Pasley and all of the other reserves that came in to play with us tonight. Thank you to all the Prem drivers that did turn up today. And we really hope, I do, from the bottom of my heart, really hope that I will be seeing you next week in Italy for the Premier Division. My name is JB. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time for SpeedForce Racing. The next stream on the SpeedForce Racing YouTube channel will be on Monday night. Remember to mark your calendar, Monday night for GP3. They'll be going around this circuit. That will be the last time we'll see the French circuit on the 2018 game. Hope you will have a very nice Easter, and we will see you next time for SpeedForce Racing. Ta-ra, guys.